What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training, back at uh, for our weekly dog behavior Q&A, where you can ask us questions about your dog training, behavior, anything you like. I'll give it my best shot. Um, we are also live on YouTube, so for some reason, if we can't connect on Facebook and or if we can't connect on YouTube, we are live. We have a couple of options. So definitely want to make sure I get you guys' questions. We were supposed to go live yesterday, but that couldn't happen due to some internet connectivity problems. So sorry about that. But we're here now, and let me get into it. I'll answer some questions. There we go. All right. So, this question is for Kate. My question is, how do I get my dog to stop sneaking in the basement and pooping when I'm gone from the house? He's perfectly fine being in his crate all day and is not afraid of pooping in front of me on walks or at parks. I just wish I could leave him out at home and not worry about the carpet. Well, I think you may have to try and figure out his schedule, and maybe you can feed him in a different time. If you're free feeding him, I would go ahead and not do that. I would try and see if feeding him a little bit more once a day could probably work. So that way he he won't have to go as much. See if that works. But also, if he's, if he's not going in the crate, then he actually is crate trained. So I would just maybe focus on that. Sometimes accidents do happen, no matter what. But for me, I feed my dogs once a day in the morning. I just feed them twice the amount once a day, and not for that reason, but that's just how I do it, and it seems to be pretty good at obviously then not having to go to the bathroom as much. So try that out. Play with their feeding schedule and see how that works for you. All right, thanks for your question. Okay, it's Friday. That means good stuff. All right, here we go. For the folks who are watching live too, you guys can answer questions. You can ask your questions right away. I'm reading some from yesterday, but you guys answer these questions, or you can ask your questions and I will make your question the priority. Please, again, feel free to ask as many as you like to. Okay. All right, next question. I paid for a total of 10 sessions with my dog trainers to help my German Shepherd coexist again. I have 3 left, as they suggested taking a break over the winter to keep working on obedience separately. If these 3 sessions can't bring them together, I am seriously thinking of your board and train. It's so very frustrating that we have been living like this since last July. Thanks for all the information you continue to put out on social media. It really gives people like us some hope. I appreciate it. Thank you. I guess that really wasn't a question, but yeah, let me know if we can help you guys, and yeah, we'd love to talk and see if we can work together. But thank you for your compliment. All right. Hey, Jeremy, I work from home during the day. And I've been rotating where I have Leo in place. I have him on a mat in my office for a while, and then have him go to a dog bed in the next room, and then switch back after a while. My question is it okay to have him be in my office? Or is having him too close to me not good for training? If I let him roam free, he'd hang out on the opposite side of the house from where I am. I've been keeping him close to me so I can correct him if he gets up. Let me know if I should change anything. Thanks. Okay, Haley. No, I don't think that. I think what you're doing is just fine. Um, like you said, you know, you can, you're able to put him back in place if he decides to get up, and so that's fine. I'd continue to do what continue to do what you're doing, and yeah, take it from there. Leo's he's a weird guy, so um, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I think that'd be good. All right. Karen Gordon would like to know about separation anxiety. Okay. Um, well, I know your dog, and I know the relationship between you and your dog. So I can give a little bit more in depth on your situation. Um, but basically, I think that dog is like attached to you. I mean, that dog, you and that dog are super super close. All right, and what you can do, um, really quickly, I won't go too in depth with it, but what you can do to help combat separation anxiety is when you come home, don't make it a big deal that you've been gone, and when you leave, don't make it a big deal that you've left. And you can also give him something to do in those moments, which will help tremendously. Like when you walk in, tell the dog to go lay down, and or when you're leaving, tell the dog to go lay down. Just don't make it a big celebration that you've been gone. Okay, let the dog sort of settle his nerves before you pet the dog, um, and then and then as far as when you leave the house, um, very important. Tell him to go lay on his bed. Right. So you're just creating calm energy in the house. And I think he's old enough to now he's not in the crate, but uh, give him something to do before you leave. Let him settle his nerves there, and then just walk out. Don't say bye to him. Okay, but the harder of the two is for you. I know is going to be not saying hi to your dog when you walk in the house from being gone because he's Hershey's a very handsome dog. So um, that's all I'll say about that for now. Maybe if we have a little bit more time in the end, I can go more in depth about it. But that's just a real quick strategy for dogs who have separation anxiety. All right, let's move on. Let me see if I've got some questions live. Okay. All right. So I do have something I do want to talk about. There's been a recent situation. Man, why does this look so dark? That's odd. Okay, hopefully you guys can see me. It looks kind of dark. All right. So there has been a recent uh, tragic situation that's happened, and it's just going viral. Um, but basically, I won't disclose any names or anything like that. But I do want to address it because I do feel, uh, you know, bad for not only the owners, but I also feel bad for the everyone involved, not just the owners. Okay, so if you haven't heard, I'm sure some of you, my Wisconsin listeners or followers, have heard about the German Shepherd that passed away during uh, the dog being sent to training. All right. Um, I want to make sure that you guys sort of hear what my side of the story is, and because so um, there was a dog again that was sent away for training for 3 weeks. It was a service dog type of training, but I think the dog was sent to uh, be I think the dog actually was there for dog aggression. Okay. And what happened was, so what I've gathered that had, if anybody that is watching has more insight, please feel free to chime in. But from what I gathered, the dog was starved, um, because the trainer did not take the muzzle off of the dog for about a week and a half, and terrible. So let's see, and then so when the dog did was able to eat, because I don't think the dog was able to eat. What I gathered and what I thought happened was the dog ate and then got bloat, and then the trainer decided to go to the vet and put the dog down. Uh, Outrageous, man, right? Crazy, crazy tragedy. So my condolences go to the. That's just never. It's never good. It's never. Um, you know, there's it's never easy losing a dog's life. So my condolences, first of all, go out to the family. But I wanted to speak on it because the the owners are really really upset, and they're blasting these the trainers, and the company and the rescue, um, that referred them to the trainer. And so, first of all, let's just put out there that the rescue is not to blame. I mean, you know, crazy things happen. I know that because I do um, do this for a living, and although I've never had that happen in my care, we are dealing with animals, and they're not always predictable. Um, where I do think the training company went wrong is they didn't contact the owner about the health problems right away. So there was neglect on that. Now is never uh, that should never be allowed. That is very wrong. And I try my best to give people updates as soon as they ask for them. Okay, and sometimes I can't give deep, like really good explanations as to how they're doing as far as training wise, not health wise. Um, but because sometimes those things is a process, and but I think I do a pretty good job of getting back to people right away because I know how hard it would be for me to not know how my dog is doing away from me, away from home. And it does give board and trains a bad name, and I definitely have to fight for that because I think board and trains are so important for a lot of people, a lot of dogs, a lot of owners. The board and train is very, very important because it's way safer for the dog and the trainer, and the owner, anyone involved. When you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with any sort of aggression, if you're working on the dog's territory, the chances are very, very high that the dog will bite you, much more than if the dog is away from its environment and away from its owners. So, so that being said, there's been a lot of blame on the rescue, and it's like they are not responsible because prior to this, this training company uh, was doing good work, or at least good enough to be referred to. Okay, and um, so um, I don't think any blame should be put on the rescue. Now, here's the only other thing that I'll say about it, is uh, we're only hearing one side of the story. Okay, so I've already kind of said that the owner neglecting to tell, or excuse me, the trainer neglecting to tell the owner um, about the dog's health right away, that's the big problem. Okay, very big problem. Okay, but if you guys have read the description of the owner and what had happened, um, then it makes me curious to know sort of both sides of the story. You know, the other thing that was really bad about what happened is that the trainer went and put the dog down without telling the owner. That's also very irresponsible. Very irresponsible. And they're also blaming people are also blaming the vets for doing that, but they shouldn't necessarily be blamed either. I don't think they check microchips. Um, they check microchips before putting a dog down. If a dog is in pain and suffering, I don't know if they'll do that. But if you guys know, if anyone else out there knows, then you guys can chime in. But yeah. So I did want to speak on it. I'm not the type of person that likes to gossip or anything like that. I feel I feel a responsibility to let people know that we are dealing with animals. Um, there's irresponsibility that come from that training company. Not trying to defend them at all. Okay, but and I've never actually had the only dog that I had sick, came sick, and we talked about with the owner before it came. We said, "Is this a good idea?" And the owner said yes, it was okay. So the dog was sick, just had diarrhea before coming into my training. If a dog has any health problems prior to training, we delay the training. The dog needs to come in as healthy as possible, um, so that we can get the most out of the training. And, if you've worked with me, I'll work with you too. Like, say if we have to take a couple days of training off because of if a dog does get sick, um, then I'll give you 2 extra days, or I'll take it off the price depending on the situation. But yeah, communication is key for sure. I just I feel bad for the family, like I said, and I don't want this to reflect on other board and trains because they are very important for a lot of dogs. It is again the most effective, safest way to rehabilitate a fearful or aggressive dog. All right, I really recommend that, and I really stand by that. Okay. That being said, once again, we are dealing with dogs who are unpredictable. Sometimes some dogs will really be determined to get out of a crate, um, you know, and get out of wherever they're at, and they can hurt themselves doing so. So we really have to do our best to obviously stop that from happening, but it happens. And not saying that this is the situation that happened at all with this, this dog and this dog trainer, and I do think that there was neglect on the dog trainer's part, but there's just so many people like really upset, and they should be. But you know, I would like to know or learn what the trainer was thinking, doing, saying, and stuff like that. Because when you're upset and you only hear one side of the story, and you're upset, you know, you can maybe leave things out or not disclose the full story. So I also want you guys to know that I rarely, I just put a muzzle video out yesterday, but besides that, I rarely work with muzzles. I don't work with muzzles unless I'm trying to get a dog comfortable with their nails to be trimmed, and that's very rare. Okay, so I don't work with muzzles in general at all. I mean, probably 97% of the time, um, I have to muzzle condition a dog, but that's very rare. So I don't do it. I don't think I have to, because the board and train also provides that. The board and train provides you not having to work with muzzles. Okay. Um, and because I'm the only trainer, I get to establish a good relationship with your dog. That's also why I don't have to work with muzzles, because the dog trusts me enough to not take it to the point where they have to bite me. And so, um, chances are, unless the owner requests me to muzzle the dog, I don't do it. All right. Anybody have any questions about that? That little story? It sucks. It's a really, really bad situation. And like I said, I just feel bad. All right. We got a question live. Hey, Jeremy. Hope all is well. Piper is doing really good. We have contractors coming in and out of the house lately, and she's hold her place command for a couple of hours, no problem. In fact, she has warmed up to a few of them, which is huge accomplishment. We also have taken Piper to a nature preserve where dogs can run with her collar. She stays close, comes when she's told, and strangers can pet, no problem. However, when she is on leash, she sometimes is to be very tense. Is this something I can work on, and how should I proceed? Yeah, it's a tough one. So like, one of my dogs still is a little nervous on leash. That's because I don't really ever put him on leash. But and it's fine with dogs in general after that. What you can do is just be a little bit more, spend a little bit more time on leash with her, and then just sort of use the protocol that we've set out. She just needs more time on leash, basically, around dogs to help her relax. Um, but in your dog's defense, some dogs have to be daggum bulletproof to not react. I mean, there's tons of them that can do it, but if I've got a dog who's on leash and there's a dog barking, you know, around and trying to pull and all that good stuff that's around me, it's pretty tough for certain dogs to keep calm in that situation. So I definitely sympathize in that scenario. But yeah, just keep working with the protocol and try and find a safe place to have your dog around other dogs. We are going to start with our pack walks again next Saturday. Wanted to wait, not this Saturday. Want to wait till the snow melts and maybe the sidewalks will be a little bit more friendly. Um, I don't want anybody slipping out there, so we won't. The weather will be fine enough. I mean, obviously warm enough, but I want to wait till that snow melts so we don't have anybody falling, slipping. That would be bad. All right. All right, folks. Those of you who are watching live, if you got any questions about anything I've talked about or anything like that, feel free to ask. I think we've gone over all the questions that I have on social media. Oh, nope, one more. Let's see. Okay. So, okay. Did a full hip leg exam, which he was not overly fond of. He kept trying to sit, so they ended up trying to take his temperature. Tips on working with him on this. So, okay. Basically, this dog wanted to get a full hip leg exam, and the dog kept sitting, so it was hard to do the examination. All right. So, one thing that do all your board and trains work for food? No, I don't do that. So I think maybe I should address that too. There's a lot of trainers that will not will make their dogs work for food.
Um, no, food for me is they're always going to get food no matter what. Um, I do feed them as owner recommended. I don't free feed, but I'll make them work for it in the sense where they have to sit and be calm. That's about it. And or if we're working with food aggression, then I'll work with them on that. But nah, I don't do that at all. So thanks for your question, and thanks for bringing that up so that I could address that. Um, so anyway, going back to the vet exam. So one of the things you could teach your dog is how to stand. Okay, they call it just the stand command, or whoever calls it. Um, but basically, what I like to do is just put my um, hand on their stomach, press up until they stand up. Once they stand up, pet their butt, scratch their butt. It helps them stay, and then say stay. You know, um, and you may have to repeat a few times, but um, your stay is very important. Your dog should be able to. I just took my dog to the vet yesterday, and she was nervous, but she didn't do anything other than what I wanted her to do, which was lay down, stay, and or stand. So I work on the stand command. I'd work on that. So like, I have a video on how to do it too on my YouTube channel. Um, but you want it to be a situation where your dog trusts you enough and listen to you enough to where you can put that your hand underneath its belly. It stands up. Then hold it there until they're actually standing up, and then scratch his butt to help. Sometimes when you scratch their butt, it helps them go into your hand a little more, and they'll stay, especially if they like that butt scratch. Then stroke their back too. That helps. Stroke their back once they're in that stand, and then repeat. Um, the only other thing I would have, recommended if you wanted to get that blood work done, so that'd be short term a short term solution would be is just to get a flat collar and excuse me, a flat leash, and you can put a towel on it or whatever, especially if it's a male dog. Put a towel over it, like wrap a towel around the leash, put it underneath its belly, and then just kind of hold them up, hold the dog up to a stand. They do that for like nail trimming, stuff like that. But you could literally take another leash and just kind of hold him up so he can get his blood drawn and stuff like that. But long term solution would be the one that I suggested before that. You know, making your dog learn the stand command is very beneficial when it comes to vet visits. So, and practice at home. I mean, the more you practice at home, the easier it's going to be when that vet visit comes around. All people should be doing that. If they have a dog that's not very good at the vet, you want to practice what the vet will actually be doing. You want to have control of the dog. You should be able to hold the dog in place, um, and not have a squirmy, wormy dog. And that takes practice. Practice when you bathe the dog. Practice when you nail trim the dog. Practice when you clean the ears, brush the teeth, whatever else you're doing. Your dog should, if you say stay, your dog should stop moving. Okay? All right, you guys. I have been live for about 30 minutes now. Anybody else have any final questions or anything like that? Whoa. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, once again, my heart goes out to that family, to that rescue. I really wish, you know, uh, that things would have turned out different because that trainer's reputation and is done. There's no more dog training for that fella. Yeah, and if he did good work, you know, it's going to be one less place we can send dogs to. So it sucks, but so yeah, I was gonna put it in the title, but I don't wanna gossip. But boarding trains are good. Don't be discouraged. They're great. All right, you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I really appreciate you guys watching. Give me a thumbs up or like if you liked it and enjoyed it. We'll be back next Thursday, I promise. Sorry about the miscommunication on my part last week or yesterday, but we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.